Hey y'all, it is March the 10th, 2020, and y'all, I want to tell you a story, right? An explanation, if you will, about last night. Some of y'all might be somewhat aware that I was attempting to do a live stream last night and actually carried on with it for a little while. Towards the end, I don't know how many people caught it, but I just kind of fell off at the end, all right? I just pretty much disappeared off into the sunset without a warning. I decided that I didn't want to do that, what I was doing anymore. All right. As far as what I was doing on YouTube last night, I decided I didn't want to do that no more. All right. Now, last night was supposed to be my last live stream upon YouTube, and that's for different various reasons that we are going to discuss here in a minute. All right, I'm getting my setup together. All right, but I was gonna do one more live stream, and the thing is, it never got off the ground the way I wanted it to. All right. First of all, YouTube is giving me the business, and I'm gonna explain that in a second. This would explain my hiatus from YouTube for about a week from live streaming. All right, I was banned from YouTube, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But when I just got into it, I knew it was going to be my last live stream. Not a lot of people knew about it, which is all right. You know, I've gone through that sort of thing where, you know, there is no audience, right? I just do the live stream and record it. That's not a first for me. But the thing is, YouTube is giving me the runaround. I mean, first of all, they're banning me for weeks at a time, all right? And I'm going to discuss that in a second. But not only that, they're making me compromise all over the place. Like, for example, the format of the videos is a style in which I would like to do the videos in which I cannot do right now, all right? I feel that's the fault of YouTube and also my technology. I'm going to have to work on that. But I just wasn't feeling it. Not only can we not do FaceTime, can we not holler at people live on the internet like I want to, do a little FaceTime and split streaming and stuff like that. I want to get down on that, and I don't know how to do it. I don't think I have the capabilities to do it on YouTube. Not only that, they're giving me the runaround. They're banning me for weeks on end, right? I'm going to talk about that in a second. But not only did that take place, I was trying to even set the vibes at the beginning of the video and listen to our girl T Trisha out there. She's laying it down. She's laying it down real good, but then it started buffering. There was all sort of technical difficulties, and it really just threw me out of my mode. I wanted to hear some T Trisha. That threw me off my rhythm. Different technical difficulties to include buffering. All right, and we're gonna work on that soon. Can't wait to get back on the live streams. It's not going to be here on YouTube. It's going to be on D Live, if anything, at first. Some people know about my account there. Haven't been using it, but I'm going to start using it just as soon as possible. All right? But everything's got to work out to where the technicals are not so difficult. All right? And that might take some time. So specifically, speaking about last night, I wasn't feeling it. The thing is, I did just come off of a hiatus. All right, for a week, like I said, I was banned for a week, and I want to explain something. Pretty much everyone I know has been banned from YouTube at one point or another for a week or so, this and that, variation of that. But it's like on the fifth time, on the fifth occasion that this sort of thing happens, and there's no recourse. There's no one that I could talk to about it. It's not going to get me anywhere anyways. And the fifth time it becomes kind of annoying, all right? Kind of unacceptable. Kind of like I'm participating in an abusive relationship, what feels to me to be like an abusive relationship, and I just keep coming back, all right? And you don't want to do that in San Antonio, Texas. We're going to talk about that probably later on in the broadcast. I wanted to have a short broadcast and explain that that's what happened, y'all. All right, I was feeling pretty dang frustrated, and I didn't do a live stream. There's not going to be no more live streaming here on YouTube because it is simply not worth it. That being said, shout out to all the amazing people I've met on YouTube. Y'all the only things that have been keeping me on a live stream as far as the past few weeks are concerned. All right, there's been no benefit to being on YouTube besides touching base with y'all. and I want to do that in a more extensive way in the future. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But a lot of people had asked me about me getting banned. They asked me, well, why did I get banned? What did I say that got banned? All right. And honestly, I had to let them know that I had no idea, and nor was I interested, right? And finding out I was this annoyed by being banned for another week. I wasn't really interested at all. And in fact, I only wound up checking. Here's the thing: when you come up onto the YouTube app on my phone when I'm doing it, it just says that you're banned. You're banned for about a week, but it doesn't tell you why. All right. To find out why, you actually have to go to your Gmail account, all right, and check it out, because the YouTube team will have sent you an email about it. All right. I didn't check it until, I believe, late last night or early this morning. I wanted to find out. I got a little bit curious, and the thing is, I'll go ahead and read it out for y'all. Right there, it says, "Hi, end of YouTube, the end of YouTube. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it it violates our community guidelines. We've removed the following content from YouTube," and y'all might remember this from a long time back. This is when I was like editing videos, and I was putting together compilations, and it was in regards to Parkland. This is a long time ago, well over a year ago. All right, did I upload this video, and they found it to be against their community guidelines. They went ahead and deleted it. And I'm pretty sure they probably won't let me re-upload it again. They'll recognize it and delete it again. So we know this might be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is safe. It's a safe place for all. And if your content breaks our, guidelines, let me see what else it says. Then we're just gonna have to, we're just gonna have to mess you up for about a week. You can't live stream and this and that. And that's pretty much what happened, and I'm sick and tired of it, basically. It's not worth it, right? So as far as any more videos going to be uploaded to YouTube, that's just going to be at my own discretion, and I really don't care if I upload anything else. But if I do upload anything else, it'll probably be like InfoWars and stuff like that. And I'm going to get banned and banned and banned again here on YouTube, and that's why we're going to branch out. And there's different other platforms, and we do want to create some style and stuff, some sort of format. You're seeing me. We're about to interact. We need some live streaming, but I gotta up my internet game. All right, I have to get an internet connection for here in my apartment, and that might take a month or something like that. In the meantime, I want to hear from y'all. All right, there's all sort of different things that just fly by. I can't catch it all. All right. And y'all have always been crucial as far as filling in the gaps. All right. And letting me know things that I probably didn't know about, all right? And I'll remind you at the end of this here broadcast. But I deeply encourage all y'all to get at me in the comments section and let me know, if anything, what area or what particular story you might want me to cover. Now, in the near future, if you mention it, I will cover it. All right, because I don't have too many people. I got enough people giving me a different commentary, but I will cover it. All right, just so that you know. If you give me a topic, if you give me an area, it will be covered on the next live stream. I guarantee you, and I'll shut you out. All right, I need to hear what's good, going down in the streets, and I want to know about all the nitty gritty stuff that you come across. In the meantime, I got a couple of things that I wanted to share with y'all tonight. And I was thinking about sharing them last night, but it was all kind of a whirlwind. I couldn't get my thoughts together, right? And there was all sort of different things that I wanted to talk about, but at the end of the day, I really just wanted to talk about these two particular items and how they're very much related to each other, all right? I want to talk about, number one, the toilet paper shortage of Australia, all right? That's become a real big concern for a lot of publications. They've written all sort of articles about it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. All right, and we're going to talk about perhaps the hypothetical psychological operations, if you know what I'm talking about, that could be taking place as far as this toilet paper shortage, if you will, all over Australia, but I hear in different other various places, and certainly going to find out over the next couple of days. But we're talking about that coronavirus. All right, I shouldn't say that. I'll get banned off of YouTube, or they're gonna put all sort of disclaimers up under my video. But I wanted to bring this up, and here's the thing. I want to play a couple of videos for y'all to start off the broadcast. I think they're going to be crucial. Not only that, I think they're going to relate to each other in a way that you might find random. But I'll explain it to you. All right. First of all, the first time I heard about this toilet paper shortage was actually from the man, Maitre Mark. All right. Heard it from him first. I wound up looking it up. And sure enough, the New York Post was making articles about it, and all sort of people from overseas were just making articles about it and just very concerned about it. And so I knew that it was really a thing that people were talking about. Now, how real was the shortage in Australia? I want to find out. There's more questions to be asked, but this was the video, just to give y'all a taste. This is what introduced me to the toilet paper shortage. The man Maitre Mark.
So, dobry dzień, people. We have the crisis of coronavirus. And what does that mean in Australia? It means the supermarkets are out of toilet paper. Toilet paper is what Australians are panic buying because of the coronavirus. What's the sense in that? I can't understand it. People are also buying pasta and rice, but that's not selling out. It's the toilet paper. A mad rush on toilet paper. I don't understand. Do they think by wrapping themselves in toilet paper they may not contract the killer virus? Who knows? Who knows? Toilet paper. You know, if it comes to a big crisis, what's more important, eating or wiping your bum? You know, you can use other things like newspaper, you can use leaves. In India they use their hands and then they wash their hands.
All right, we're gonna have to holler at our people in India. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if any of that was true. All right, but that's what introduced me to that situation. All right, so Maitre Mark was talking about it. I need to holler at him to see if he actually saw the stores and they were physically empty with toilet paper. I can trust that he probably did, right? And that's why he was talking about it. But I do have to get confirmation. And I was seeing all sort of articles that were explaining an extreme shortage of toilet paper in Australia, all right? I want to discuss that just briefly because we can go in a million different directions in regards to that sort of situation. All right. I can't say necessarily that there was a real shortage, for example. All right. Could be people playing games. All right. Why would they do that? I'm not sure. For example, we could discuss the possibilities. Could it have been a genuine shortage of toilet paper in Australia due to people buying massive amounts of toilet paper organically through a herd mentality and in a stampede type fashion with the toilet paper? Is it possible? Yes, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's probable. I don't think it's probable, not at all. All right. And I want to get confirmation. I think I want to dig in and get down to the nitty gritty of this particular situation. Specifically, the toilet paper, Australia. They made a big deal out of it. All right. All sort of articles written about it. And, I want to get down to the bottom of it and what the heck's going on and what might contribute to this shortage. Could it all have been organically Australians buying up toilet paper for no reason? And doing that before everything else? It's possible. It's not probable. All right. And it leads you to wondering just how big of a reach of power do, for example, Chinese internationals have in Australia. Now, I could be getting all sort of paranoid, right? And I could be jumping off the deep end, right? Going off on a limb on this. But is it possible, just asking, maybe I'm wrong, Is it possible that China could have been playing games this whole time? Perhaps there was a genuine shortage of toilet paper coming out of China. Perhaps they stiffed Australia on the recent toilet paper shipments. Could that have played a factor? Not only that, could the Chinese government, for example, be wanting to cause panics all around the world in an economic sense, all right, to promote instability in different various stock markets that are not their own? Would it benefit them to do that? For example, if you were a Chinese person, one of these people with unlimited amount of money, all right, because most of the Chinese people are dirt poor and we all know it, all right? It's not beat around the bush. Some of them are having unlimited amounts of money. So you can imagine, well, what if those particular Chinese people with unlimited amounts of money, what if they wanted to cause economic instability throughout different stock markets in different various countries? Could they cause a panic, if you will, for toilet paper, even though it doesn't make sense in Australia? All right? And would that benefit them somehow? That's what I'm asking. I mean, I don't know what happened in Australia, all right? But meanwhile, okay, another thing that was bothering me, amongst all sort of other things last night, and it's a reason why I had to cut the stream short and just do something else, was quite honestly, there was a moment in time that was circling around in my head all throughout the attempted broadcast last night. There was a particular moment that was circling around in my head, and I had to let you know that prior to the broadcast, I didn't get my stuff together the way that I would like to, right? I didn't get to warm up. I didn't get to, physically get awake necessarily. I kind of dived into the news. I kind of dived into the screens and the news and this and that, the social medias. And it was a really awful way to start my day, to be honest. It was a bad idea, and I don't plan to do it later. But okay, so I was diving into the screens and into the news before the broadcast, and I was getting the wherewithal, and I actually came across a thing that most people find very boring, extremely, excruciatingly boring. I had to admit to you, it was. It really was, and so I can't blame anybody for not watching it, but alright, here's the thing. I watched what was called a town hall. Right? And it's not a town hall by any means, right? By any stretch of the imagination, is it a town hall? And it's conducted by, and you've seen them on the television probably, by CNN or by Fox or these different various television deals. And they have what's called a town hall. And it's not a town hall. But meanwhile, they try to pretend like it is. This one included, the one that I was watching was with Bernie Sanders, who, if you can believe it, is still in the race. We're about to explain the many different various reasons why you can tell with certainty, all right, without a doubt, that Bernie Sanders is fixing to throw in the towel and he doesn't want no conflict and he's ready to lay down quite flat on the floor just about as soon as it's humanly possible, all right? He does not want to be the president. We're going to talk about that. And I want to show you a clip, all right? But before I show you this clip, I just got to let you know, for the whole quote town hall, Bernie Sanders is saying some wild things. We're going to get into it a little bit more later, but I just got to let y'all know real briefly, and you're not going to like this, but for anybody out there who is a fan of Bernie Sanders, or Joe Biden for that matter, you have a sincere relationship problem with your father, right? You're going to ask me how I know that. Don't you worry about that. It's a real deep thing. I know it sounds shallow, but it's really not. It's going to cut to the heart of the matter. You have a poor relationship with your father. And meanwhile, on the exceptions, there are some people who have very good relationships with their father. And they're also fans of Bernie. And they're also fans of Joe Biden. All right, your father is very effeminate and he's a beta male, all right? And we're going to go into that in great detail later. Trust me, I'm not saying that for no reason. All right, there's no three ways about it. This is what's taking place. You can look at a lot of people who are fans of Bernie. those Bernie bros out there, and the Biden bros, if they do exist. You look at them and you say, well, how could these people even figure out how to tie their shoes and leave the front door in the morning? Right? It's really kind of mind blowing. Say, how do they feed their families? It doesn't make any sense. All right? How do they do that? And they're fans of Bernie. Well, the thing is, like I said, you can get all intellectual about it, and you could try to figure it out. What could possibly lead them down that rabbit hole of socialism? All right, it's not going to work because it is a spiritual thing. It's exactly what I just said before about the father thing. Yeah, but they have a terrible relationship. They're fathers. It's an unfortunate thing. Or their fathers are very effeminate, like Robert De Niro style. All right, and I'm not. I'm over here being a bully here on the internet, and I'm the one who gets banned. All right, just to let you know. But I wanted to play this video clip. It's of Bernie Sanders. Like I said, this whole town hall, quote town hall. It was all preposterous, every last bit of it, all right? And if you want to figure out why people are buying into this sort of rhetoric, it is because they have a poor relationship with their fathers, all right? I'm cutting the heart of the matter, all right? You might want to disagree. Go ahead and disagree. But there was one moment in particular, like I said, it was swimming around my head, all right? And I want to discuss that with you real quick. A very, very deep moment. All right. First of all, let me introduce you to the town hall. It was hosted by this guy, Bret Baier, and this other lady. Let me play the video so you kind of get a feel for it. If you
We are just hours away from voting in what some people are calling Super Tuesday 2.0. 6 states will decide on their choices for which Democrat should go up against President Trump this fall. 352 delegates at stake.
The fallout from last week's Super Tuesday voting has left us with a two-man race. Former Vice President Joe Biden riding the wave of an former Vice President.
All right, we understand, okay? It's a two-man race, right? It's between Biden and Bernie. You probably heard about it. So I just want to stop right there. I just want to make a note that, you know, these people, I don't feel comfortable watching them necessarily. I'll put up with it, I guess, but they just look fake. They look like they're actual plastic people. All right, like fake people, all right? And it kind of weirds me out, like they're clones or something. Weirds me out. So I don't typically like to watch them. In fact, if you take a look at the guy with the glasses and the hat that I think is a New York Yankees or something hat back behind him, you could tell he doesn't trust these people, man. He's giving them the you know what I'm saying? He's looking them up and down. He's giving them the ocular pat down, and for good reason. These people, they make me uneasy. And then again, you got the token Muslim lady on the side. Now, I don't know if I'm a bully. She's a Muslim lady. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying there's a Muslim lady, and of course she's going to be right there in the background. You got to see her for the town hall. That is for sure. Now, as far as the moment that I'm talking about that got caught in my head, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you right now. We're going to cut to the chase. But just to set it up, these people, they're talking to Bernie Sanders, and they're asking him about the coronavirus, what's going on, and of course he's going to say that Donald Trump is doing a miserable job. All right, obviously. Okay, but Bret Baier, that guy, he's going to ask Bernie a question, right? And it's a very specific question using very specific words. Okay? And then Bernie Sanders is going to answer that question. And mind you, if I were to point this out to anybody, most anybody else, they give me the runaround. They give me all sort of excuses. They would tell me what Bernie Sanders means to say. Meanwhile, I'm really only concerned with what he is saying. And I think it's going to prove to be crucial. So let's go ahead and play that video clip right quick.
We have to depend upon the generosity of billionaires to help us. We should be doing.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next audience question. But if you had to, would you close down the borders?
No. I mean, all
right, I'm going to stop you right there. Did you hear what he said? Like I said, the fake man, Bret Baier, he asked Bernie Sanders, he said, if you had to, and these are the words that he said, I listened to it over and over. Like I said, it was playing over and over again in my mind. He said, if you had to close down the borders, would you? Bernie Sanders then pauses. I'll play it again. He pauses and then says no. Let me play it again for you.
If you had to, would you close down the borders?
No. I mean, what you don't want to do
He's
right now,
going
we
to
have a
start talking
president.
about Donald Trump, and what you don't want to do is what Donald Trump's doing, because he's a racist and a xenophobiast. All right? But here's the thing. Brett Baer asked you a question. All sort of people make all sort of excuses, especially for this old man with his waggly finger. But here's the thing. He said, if you had to close the borders, would you? And you said no. No. All right, so let me break that down. If you had to close the borders, that insinuates, that's kind of implying something. And that something is more than likely the well-being of Americans, perhaps their lives. Right? So in this situation, that could very well be a serious situation. Brett Baer is asking you in regards to the coronavirus. Some people say it's a big deal. Some people say it's not a big deal. He said, if you had to close down the borders, if you had to, would you? And Bernie Sanders said no. No. If it meant American people's lives and livelihoods and wellness, no, it doesn't matter, because, see, Bernie Sanders knows full well that closing down the borders would hurt certain people's feelings. All right? And if it's anything about Bernie Sanders' MO, is that he's not going to hurt nobody's feelings. Or he's going to make sure not to hurt anybody's feelings. And that is, no matter what happens to the American people, it could be all sort of children dying, and it wouldn't even matter. Brett Baer said, if you had to close down the borders, would you close them down? He said no. Why? Because it would hurt people's feelings, right? And Bernie Sanders makes painfully sure not to hurt nobody's feelings unless they happen to be a white, straight male, right? Or, for that matter, a billionaire, and then they get all demonized for having billions of dollars, right? By Bernie Sanders, who has millions of dollars. Right? The whole entire town hall was absolutely, completely absurd. There wasn't one good answer coming from Bernie. Not one. But that was the most egregious when he said no. He plainly said no. Why? Because of xenophobia. Why? Because it would have hurt somebody's feelings. And never mind the deadly serious situation that could be on our hands. Bernie Sanders says no. Right? Meanwhile, hypothetically, he would never be the president. He doesn't want to be the president. Let's make that painfully obvious. We don't have time to go through all the different clips. But here's the thing. Bernie is giving it away just about as hard as you can, right? And for those people who might not understand where I'm going yet, Bernie is throwing this whole thing. He's doing it right now, all right? He's been throwing this match. For example, and I'll give you an example, all right? There's not a Bernie bro out there who doesn't understand this, okay? Everybody and their mama, from Donald Trump to Sarah Sanders to Conway to everybody else, is pointing out the mere obvious fact that Joe Biden is mentally disoriented, right? They call it demented. Joe Biden has gone full dementia on people. He's mumbling and stumbling and fumbling, and there's not a single person in the world who doesn't know that, right? Okay, so if we're in the world of politics, let's consider that. Since everybody who's in politics is making mention of the fact is Joe Biden has marbles all in his mouth, and he's suffering from all sort of health conditions of the brain, then how come his political competitor can't point that out? And there's going to be all sort of excuses. Trust me, I've already heard him. Oh, he doesn't want to go that route. Oh, he doesn't want to be mean. All right. There's no way in the world that Bernie Sanders is going to win over Joe Biden voters. It's not going to happen. If there are Joe Biden voters out there, Bernie Sanders will never lay a hand on them ever. All right. The only thing Bernie Sanders could do now is grow a backbone like he's never had before, and he doesn't have a neck. He could grow a backbone and perhaps pipe up and mention the fact that his competitor needs to be in assisted living. All right. he would quite simply do that, but instead he's throwing it just the way he meant to throw it the whole time. Meanwhile, he's still taking in donations, all right? And he's going to continue to take in the donations until he drops out at the very soonest moment possible. All right? It's painfully obvious. And people have relationship problems with their fathers, all right? Just to be honest. That being said, I wanted to get that out of the way. I thought that was very crucial. All right. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and wind this broadcast down. We're not going to make it too long because I want to get out of here and get some rest. All right. And gear up for tonight. And I'll holler at y'all a little bit later with another one of these videos, maybe in a day or so. And we'll catch up. Like I said, man, I want y'all to leave comments where you're at, what's going on, what's on your mind, what should we discuss on the next live stream. We will discuss it, all right? If you leave a comment, it will get discussed, right? And perhaps showcased, all right? And then you and me will, I don't know, we'll reach for the stars. Okay, so with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and wind it down. As we'll typically like to do, man, just get a wherewithal, just to get it behind us. I got some screenshots. I'm going to do a little bit of a news blitz, all right? So without further ado, let's check out what else is going on in the world before we crash out.